Hey guys, how you doing? It's Dr. Robert King, founder of Assisted Living University, the most intensive, comprehensive, educational online training ever created in the healthcare industry. Like if you saw my short video on my other social medias, and I told you to come here, so I'm gonna teach you today how I lost almost $10,000 from this one mistake. Yep. Matter of fact, it was like $9,989 or something like that. And let me tell you how it actually cost me that much money. Okay, so here's the deal. It was the tail end of the year. So I believe it was in 2018, maybe, 2018, tail end of the year. And my insurance policy on my facility was about to be up. I think this insurance policy was good until January 1, time to renew. I had done some research and I was trying to save some overhead and pay less money for my insurance on my facility. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I'm talking about how I basically lost $10,000 while owning my residential assisted living facility. So this is how it happened. This is how I lost $10,000 while actually owning my own residential assisted living facility. So anyway, here we go. So I was literally in the process of moving into the new year. It was 2018 going into 2019. Yeah, I think that's what it was. And so I was going into this new year and I'm looking at my annual services and income and my overhead, trying to lower my expenses, increase my income for the new year coming. And I noticed that my insurance policy was about to lapse and be time to renew. But we had to do a little research and found that I could actually get same coverage, a little bit more coverage per incident for a little bit less. Well, actually, I think it was $324. I believe that was the number, $324 less annually with this company. I'm like, hey, that's worth it right there. Let's do that. So what I did was, here is the big mistake. What I did was I literally, oh yeah, by the way, if you're watching this for the first time and you've not subscribed to the channel yet, let me ask you a question. What sense does it make to get this kind of knowledge one chance, one time? You may never see me again on this social media or on this internet or this YouTube situation. So go ahead and subscribe right now. Hit the subscribe, hit the notification button, and then you will get notified each time I drop some more knowledge on how to run a successful residential ALF. And also like and comment. We try our very best to answer all comments. So if you have a comment, question, we'll do our best to answer it. Let me get back to what I was saying. So it's the end of the year, about to renew the policy, trying to save myself a couple $100. And so what I did was, here's the mistake, big, gigantic mistake. So I suggest you don't do what I'm about to tell you I did. You ready? All my newbies who are just getting started and all my seasoned ALF owners who are already up and operating, don't take this risk. All right, you ready? Here you go. I believe the policy that we had, I don't know the exact date, but it was somewhere mid-December. No, early December, December 3rd or 4th, supposed to renew, and I decided not to renew. And then I said to myself, I'll just wait instead of paying that premium for the next month. I'll just wait instead of paying that December premium. I'll save some money there, and then I'll wait 1st of January, and I will renew my policy with somebody else. I will not renew that policy with that company, but I'll get existing coverage from new coverage from somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, maybe I'm confusing a little bit. Let me start it over. On December 3rd or 4th, instead of making an insurance payment for my policy on my facility, my assisted living facility. I decided to change companies, but I decided to wait until January 1st, the new year, to get the new company. So basically from December 2nd or 3rd till January, by the time the new policy kick in, January 8th and 9th, I'm without insurance. I'm thinking no big deal. Surely nothing's gonna happen. Not had any issues. And that was huge, gigantic, astronomical mistake. Are you listening? You might as well go ahead and subscribe while you're at it. Check it out. Somebody moved in their uncle on December short term, strictly short term, kind of December 7th. Okay, December 7th. Now, mind you, I'm without insurance. They moved him in December 7th. He actually stayed till January 5th. Just a holiday thing, short term. They was kind of checking us out to see if he can come stay with us long term. I happen to have a bed available. No problem, holidays. Let's get it going. We can do this, right? So he moves in. One thing that my staff noticed when he moves in, that he had this cough. And so I was told that the question was asked from his niece, did she have any kind of medication prescribed for the cough? Her answer was, no, I usually just give him Tylenol, over the counter. Well, as you know, as an ALF owner, you're not permitted to give medication over the counter to your residents. You can only give your residents what's been prescribed to them. See that? I said the word subscribe, right? That means it's time for you to subscribe to this channel. You can only give the resident what's been prescribed by a doctor to them. So we didn't have any medication that we could give him for this cough. Well, a couple of days go by, cough seems to get a little bit better. Then maybe a couple more days go by. Now we're into the, close to the holidays. We're doing holiday events. We got people coming in to visit. We got people coming in from churches, from schools to do plays and things like that for our residents. We got my man Eduardo coming in to stroke the violin. We're gonna have dinner and music listen now, dinner, music on the courtyard around the pool for holidays. That's what we had going on. We had a tree. You ain't gonna believe this. I had a tree suspended from the rafters of the outdoor patio framing that hovered right over the freaking tree. I'm sorry, right over the water of the pool, even with fake gifts around it. So it looked like the tree was literally hanging from the middle of the sky, right? And the residents call it tree from heaven because it looked like it was just hovering over the water just for them. That was awesome. The patio was looking great. We did it at 6 p.m. Sun started to go down. We got all the residents there. House is now full, and we're having a great time. And we know one of the caregivers noticed that this gentleman had a little cough. He had a little cough that seemed to get a little bit worse. And so we made one phone call again to the niece, and the niece again said that she didn't have anything. No. Matter of fact, when we made the phone call to the niece, we never got a respond. We never voicemail, never got a call back. So we could not give him any type of medication. It was the holidays. We were trying to get our ARNP come by, check him out, maybe give us some kind of medication for his cough. That wasn't able to happen as well. So all we could do was monitor it. We gave him some lemon and some water, that type thing. And it seemed like things was doing fine. Seems like he was doing okay. We was having a great time during the holiday. Then it goes into a couple of days later, and it's Christmas. And let me tell you what we do on Christmas. I know you waiting on the bigger incident, right? But let me tell you what we do on Christmas. Everybody at Christmas time in Harmony Homes get a gift. Everybody, if you are enrolled into Harmony Homes as a resident during the holidays, that's the best place for you to be. because everybody gets a gift. And I'm talking about the tree, the actual tree inside the house, 22 feet 22 feet ceilings, and a tree almost up to the ceiling. The actual tree, all the residents have come together and decorated the tree. Even ones that were in the wheelchair, they was able to get there and try a little bit. Everybody had their role when it comes to decorating the tree. Tree was absolutely beautiful. We had the whole stockings hanging. I mean, we create the ambiance. We make sure everybody gets some nice cocoa or tea. Of course, Miss Elaine, who was originally from the UK, she has to have tea, and the pinky got to be out. You cannot drink tea. Well, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself before Elaine corrects me. You don't drink tea. You sip tea. But you cannot sip tea around Miss Elaine without having your pinky out, and you can't sip tea in a big mug. It has to be a little tea mug. So we had to literally go to the flea market, found some older, nice white tea set, and that was our tea set that we used for our tea time for Miss Elaine. So everybody got tea, or you got cocoa, or you got hot chocolate, or you got apple cider, whatever your choice was. And we're all having an absolutely amazing time and enjoying ourselves. Now, problem was, unbeknownst to us, this gentleman was actually sick. We didn't think that we should call 911. So first mistake that was made, when in doubt, we should have dialed 911 and just had the ambulance come to the facility, check him out, and determine whether or not he needs to go to the hospital, or whether or not they can give him some type of medication of any kind. When in doubt, we should have dialed 911. But we didn't dial 911. We couldn't get in touch with our ARNP. So we just felt like, based on how he looked, that he was okay and that he was going to be all right. Okay, so that's first mistake. All right, well, actually, that's the second mistake. First mistake was I had not kept my insurance policy active. That's first mistake. Then second mistake, during this situation, where the young man had some cough that lasted a little bit longer than normal, we should have dialed 911 just to have them come and check him out. We should have done that. Okay, so the niece finally comes after the holidays. So Christmas goes by. It was absolutely beautiful. We realized that, he still had the cough. We thought it was okay. Thought it was, it was in okay condition. Then Christmas go by. Then New Year's Eve come. We having a great they all in bed sleep New Year's Eve. But we having a great New Year's Day celebration, and we're doing everything's good. He still got his cough, and so after New Year's, January 4th or 5th, the niece comes to pick him up. Now, when the niece comes to pick him up, it's like, he's okay. She picks him up and he's okay, right? So we do the whole discharge thing, and she comes to get him, and he's headed back home, and appears to be okay. Like there's no issues, right? Well, what happened is, when he left here, the niece said that, she immediately took him to the hospital. She didn't take him home. She said, I didn't even take him home. When I picked him up from your facility, Harmony Homes, I immediately took him to the hospital because he had this terrible cough. So he goes into the hospital, and then they get in the hospital with him, and they say, hey, yeah, you got a pretty bad cough. We're going to give you some antibiotics. Whatever they gave him to help him with the cough, they gave him that. Then they ran some tests and everything, and then they said, well, we're going to keep you for observation. You know how American Hospital does. We'll keep you for observation, check things out. They run a few more tests, and then they say, well, he has pneumonia. So the niece immediately blamed us that we gave him pneumonia. And so she called DCF, Department of Children and Family. I know the DCF lady in my region, Miss Lopez, which is a whole nother technique I'll teach you about. Don't run from DCF. Actually, get to know your DCF regional supervisor, because they can literally send people to your home. And I'm assure you that at one point in your career, while you owning your facility, and this is just a sidebar, you're probably going to have DCF come into your house, because if anybody makes any kind of claim, any kind of report, they have to open a case. So DCF comes in, hey, now I'm actively involved, because now DCF is involved. A report has been given. I meet with Ms. Lopez, and she does an inspection, asks questions, look at our paperwork of when we brought him in, the whole 9 yards. I said, listen, we had no idea the man had pneumonia. We couldn't tell. I mean, he was functionable. He was walking. He was able to get up, use the bathroom, eat, enjoy things. But he did have a cough. We didn't think that cough was bad enough for us to call 911. So we just worked with him. She didn't bring any medication with him. So we thought he was okay. We thought, from what our observation was, that he was fine. And we didn't give him any kind of medication, because we couldn't, because we didn't have anything that was prescribed to him. So we told our story. They did their report, the whole 9 yards. They discovered, as part of their report, that we did not cause pneumonia. Pneumonia is a very slow growing process. So it is not like he came to us on December 5th and then January, right after holidays, January 4th, January 5th, when he moved, that in that 30 days, DCF determined that we hadn't done anything to cause him to have pneumonia. Their actual report said, if anything, he had pneumonia when he came to us, and we just didn't know. And that's probably what maybe the cough was. So, DCF does his report, turns it in, we're clear, we're good to go. We're thinking, okay, everything is all right. Then, so, but now remember, the second mistake was we didn't call 911. So immediately I issue a new standard operating procedure. When in doubt, dial 911. Don't be afraid to dial 911. I prefer you dial 911. This is me talking to my staff now. I prefer you dial 911 and be wrong than don't dial 911 and be wrong. So we got that down. They understood that. I did a special training on 911 because of the scare that her blaming us of giving him pneumonia. So things go by, it's cool. We go into the new year. New year comes. I don't even think about not having an insurance policy at that time. I didn't even think about it. New year comes, boom. I go ahead and get that insurance policy. We lock down. We're going into the new year. I believe it's 2019 now. Things are looking great. We're having a great year so far from 2018. Everything's looking good. We rocking and rolling. Round about July, August 2019, I get served a lawsuit. Oh my God, lawsuit. I hadn't been in business, I think, any more than 3 years now, and I'm getting sued. Come on, America, what's up with that? So the niece sued us for medical expenses, sued us for pain and suffering, sued us on behalf of her uncle for giving him pneumonia, and sued us for having an unsafe environment. We're an assisted living business. So people oftentimes target us for these frivolous lawsuits, even though we've not done anything wrong. So before I hire an attorney, I have the right to answer the lawsuit. So when I got served the lawsuit, I answered the lawsuit to the attorney, and I just basically gave him all my timelines. Okay, let me give you a tip in between the tip here. Always have good logs, good timelines. When people move in, especially new move-ins, make sure you got good timelines of what happened when they came in, bam, bam, bam. So we had some good timelines, and we discussed in our timeline the situation about him coughing. So I responded to the attorney, letting them know that here's the report from DCF. It says clearly we did not cause him to have pneumonia, so we can't be sued for something we didn't cause. And so he went back and forth. So now the lawsuit started at $50,000. Oh my God, $50,000. He wanted to know immeditely, send me your insurance policy. Who was your insurer during this time? Because what I discovered, being that's, first, being new to the legal world and being sued, I discovered that basically when somebody sue you for a certain amount, you either going to spend a lot of money defending that lawsuit, or you're going to settle, which is what they want anyway, and not go to any type of trial, settle on a certain amount. That's what the word settlement mean. You know, you asked for 50,000. I said, no, I'll give you 5. And we settle somewhere in the middle. That's settlement. So nobody wants this happening to them when you're running your business, right? So we got sued for $50,000. So we go back and forth about, I don't know, a year. Now we enter into 2020. And so into 2019, before 2020, we back and forth. And then finally, I decided that, you know what, let me just get an attorney and let them deal with it. I'm listening, the guys pushing back and forth. They want 50. I said, I'll give you 5 right now. We going back and forth. Oh, now they want 40. Well, I'll give you 7. We're going back and forth. So finally, I just got an attorney and said, hey, let my attorney deal with it. My attorney started dealing with it, talking with them back and forth. And we going back and forth. You know, as long as I'm responding to what they saying in a timely manner, we're good to go. Now, of course, when you bring an attorney on board, you got to pay that attorney, right? So now, as we venture into 2020, now actually late 2019, somebody makes me an offer on my facility that I can't confuse. A student of assisted living had been looking for a facility, had found me on YouTube, just like you did. By the way, they subscribed. That's why they knew I had a facility in the state of Florida, because they've been watching me. So you never know what comes out of subscribing. It costs you nothing to push the button, subscribe, push the notification, and learn more about what's happening in the ALF world. So they subscribe. They're watching me over and over, learning about me, how I run my facility, day-to-day operation. I'm the owner of Assisted Living University. They actually enrolled to ALU. And then at one point, they decided, hey, instead of us literally looking for a facility to build from ground up, or looking for an existing facility out there, how about we ask Dr. King, does he want to sell his facility? So they, like they say, they make him an offer he can't refuse. Ain't that from the gangster movie or something? Godfather 1, 2, and 3. So anyway, they make me an offer I can't refuse. Now we're going into, you know, change of ownership, right? And so now it's like a due diligence season. It's a lot of paperwork that the buyer wants from you. And my buyer happened to be an attorney. So now I got an attorney that's buying my facility, and you know, they not playing. It was over 107, matter of fact, 107 documents is what I had to gather during the due diligence phase. I mean, this guy wanted to see everything. I mean, he wanted to know, you know, where I bought my Huggies from, and where I bought my wipes from, and why my utility bill was this much. And he want every contract that I had with every residence. When the process began, we were a full house. He wanted to see every contract. And I mean, it was a lot of paperwork. I had no idea how to sell a business. And it was a dual sell, because it was selling the real estate, the house, selling the asset, the business. So the house came with inventory, bunch of stuff that I had to all be listed and categorized. And then the business had its own inventory. Plus, we had a thing called goodwill. Part of what he wanted was my system. How did you get your house full so quickly? How do you have such an incredible pipeline of people that can refer you? People with the power, the ability, and the influence to fill your house or send you residents every time you lose a residence. How did you put that in place? So that's called goodwill. So he had to pay for that goodwill because I want to get into him for free. Then he wanted my entire staff to stay. He just wanted to walk in, change keys, and bam, run his facility, no problem. Then he wanted me to stay a year after just to help with the transition. No problem, we worked it all out. So while we're doing this due diligence, I had to reveal that I got this lawsuit going on, and here's why. So once I revealed it to him through my attorney and through his attorney, now you know, boy, you talking about, listen, I'm telling you, my business would never have closed and sold if it wasn't a top-notch business, because I'm selling it to an attorney who has an attorney. So it was a lot of work, Ball, right? So my attorney that's working with me on this lawsuit is now help representing me on the sale of the business. Are y'all with me? Stay with me. Don't go nowhere. This is important. So we turn in all the paperwork about the lawsuit. Now he sees that I have a lawsuit pending. That has to be closed before he buys. That's the bottom line. Before he closed the deal, that lawsuit has to be closed. Now we at $46,000, $47,000. Remember, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We at $46,000. My attorney gets involved. She like, we got to close this thing before this guy, this other attorney, figure out or realize or possibly understand that you're about to sell this business. If he realizes you're about to sell this business, he knows he's got you and he's going to push for the highest amount he could get, because he realized that you're not going to be able to close this deal until you pay him. So I said, all right, no problem. Let's make it work out. So we went back and forth. She did and he did, went back and forth. And the biggest issue was, biggest mistake, I was not insured during the time of the incident. Remember that gap? I was trying to save $324 by not renewing the policy in December, picking up a new policy in January. The incident took place during those 10, 12, 13 days, however long that the guy was with us. So when they wanted my insurance policy, I didn't have any. And the attorney was absolutely out of his mind. What? You had no insurance? I had to show proof that I had no insurance. And then once my attorney let them know that I had made a mistake, I didn't have any coverage of the insurance, well, then the whole game changed, because now it's like, okay, the way my business is structured, they now got to sue the business because there's no insurance. Anyway, that's why it's important to get, number one, definitely to keep insurance at all times. And also make sure you have an attorney involved in the event you have issues. So long story longer, my grandfather used to say that, we end up settling with it cost me $10,000. I think 7,800, something like that, went to her, and then the rest was legal fees. So we end up selling that. She closed it out. My attorney rocked and rolled. She pulled the attorney bluff, like, hey, remember now, this was early 2020. We were just entering the pandemic, and she was like, hey, this, the nursing homes are being hit hard. This business may not last during the pandemic. If he's offering you something, you need to take it now. So boom, everybody was afraid that I may not have anything, and there was going to be nothing to sue except a name, and it wasn't going to be no reward, even if you got a judgment. So he went for it. They went for it. We closed the deal. It cost me almost $10,000. Started off at $50,000. Ended up being $10,000. So the moral of the story, never let your insurance policy lapse. Period. Do not let your insurance policy on your residential ALF lapse. Always keep coverage. You with me? So that was my teaching for today. Don't let your insurance policy lapse. Well, you might say, well, duh, everybody know that. Yeah, I thought I did too. I took that risk. And that risk cost me. That $324 I was trying to save by getting a less expensive policy now costs me $10,000. Don't do it. Always be insured. Anyway, I'm glad you was listening today. I hope you watched the whole video and learned something from it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button so that you can always know when we are actually sending out great notifications, teaching you how to run and operate a very successful facility. And you know how we say it, right? In all you're getting, get understanding. God bless you. Peace.